I can feel it.
The journey back to Ghana has taken generations, centuries. Our ancestors left these shores in circumstances that were truly tragic and inhumane. They left, but their hearts, now your hearts, have kept that enduring connection to the African soil, to our shared heritage, to Ghana.
Hey darlings, and yes, welcome back again to another episode on the stable of Vibe with Chivik. Thank you for tuning in, and yes, I'm back on your screen like I never left. Yes, how are you doing and how is life treating you? I trust fine. Let me know in the comment section as well. As for me, I am doing pretty well and pretty good. Once again, compliment of the season, a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year in advance to each and every one of you. So guys, before we delve into today's video, please, I need you to hit the like button, share, subscribe, just that and that only if you are not. Exactly. And straight off for what we have today in this video that I will be sharing with us is definitely the experience, the story, I mean heartwarming, inspiring, motivating and captivating stories of African Americans that actually left their country, migrated to the motherland without any plan, any hope, anything whatsoever of what the motherland is definitely going to offer to them, but they just went there in anticipation, in hope that yes, at the end of the day they will get something, and trust the motherland as always to always deliver, yes, based on the fact that they had the faith and the belief that they would succeed. And on the other hand, at the experience of other people who came to raise their roots, migrated back to their roots, which is the motherland, and at the end of the day succeeded in achieving their citizenship. We're going to take a look or a rundown of these videos. Please, I will oblige you watch till the end, because it's definitely going to help you as anyone, any citizen in any part of the world who is looking forward to visiting, migrating, touring, or going back to their roots in the motherland to invest, to settle in, or for any reason positive whatsoever. And yes, it's definitely going to be of great help to you. So I'll oblige you watch till the end, and at the end of the day I'll come back to drop my objective, my input and my 2 cents. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's take a look at these people's stories, their experience in a nutshell, and we will be right back.
Great.
Oh, the love is mutual.
So we're sitting here at this cafe. We're Tema people.
Yeah.
We are Tema people. Yes. Everybody's always in a crowd, all these places.
Tema people. We are Tema people.
So I'm glad that we got to sit down today and just have a conversation. So I want you to introduce yourselves, because there are people who may have never seen you before. Although there are people who know you, there are some who've never seen you before. So if you can introduce yourselves.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I'm Tony. This is my wife, Io, and we document our move from Texas to Ghana as we go beyond the return.
So to give it a little detail, I am a daughter of a Ghanaian, so the homecoming is a little different for the two of us, which I always kind of think feeds into the storyline. So I started coming to Ghana when I was just 1, but Tony is a African-American, Black American?
Black American, yeah.
So your first visit was 2016. So we kind of come at this whole move to Ghana thing from different perspectives. But that's where we are. I did not think we were going to come and move here so early. No.
Plant roots here. And,
no.
Yeah.
But you came, especially, he came for 2016 and then 2019 for Beyond the Return. And I think that first trip in 2016, I think changed how you thought about Africa.
Right. And the second trip changed how I thought about myself.
How?
I spent more time here. It was like 2 months that second trip. And what I found coming here was the welcoming was so overwhelming that I didn't want to leave. All I heard was, "Oh, welcome home, my American brother." And after a while, it just really felt like I really was home, that I'd been away, to some place and came back home, and all these people were just happy to see me. So that changed me. And there were some issues happening in the States at the time that I just didn't want to be part of. And I just felt like, hey, I really could do this. So that changed my perspective of living in Africa and Ghana.
It's really interesting, actually. I always like to give a little context to this one, because in 2016, when we were first coming, like our first trip, we wanted to come when our youngest was still free fly. So we were like, if they're under 2, they fly free. And I was like, we have to go while we can get this free flight going on. So I was like, Tony, let's go. We're going to go for like 8 weeks. What do you think? And he looked at me like I must be absolutely out of my mind. He was like, 2 weeks. And I was like, no. You fly all the way over there. We got to stay like at least a month.
Yeah.
And he was like, 2 weeks. So we fought, like this was like, we went back and forth for a while.
Wow.
Finally we settled on like 3 weeks. I got 3 weeks out of him. And when he first landed and started to kind of settle in.
Like the second day in.
The second day.
The second day.
I was like, yeah, we should have fought more for a longer time because I'm like, 3 weeks is not going to be enough to take all this in.
Yeah.
So the next trip was that 2-month trip. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave. She could have went back and brought all the stuff. I would have been happy here waiting on her.
I mean, that was really the only reason that we went back was because I had to go back to work. So it was like, I think you would have stayed. He would have stayed without me. And I was like, no, we're all going to get on the plane and go back.
So we just took that next year, made the arrangements we needed to, and we booked that trip one way, and here we are 4 years later.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Sometimes I look back at how this started and like the journey that got us here and then where we are now, and I try to piece it back together. Like, what were we thinking? How did we even do this? But definitely one of the craziest things to consider, insane to execute, but so worth it. So worth it to see how he is in this place, how we are in this place, and then how the kids are in this place. It's just,
how are the kids?
Yeah. Now we have our 2 youngest with us. So we've got our 9-year-old now, and at this point, he spent half of his life in Ghana. I mean, like, we've been here over 4 years, and he's Ghanaian. He is.
Oh yeah.
And then our 15-year-old is not as much, right? Like, he definitely is having a different type of experience. And our 20-something-year-old daughter came a couple years ago to join us, and to see her moving around in like this 20-something Ghana, it just like they're all having such different experiences. And I think even to them sometimes it's different from what they thought of themselves.
Right. It definitely is something that can be very life changing. Because people don't realize how much we take for granted, how much even within knowing ourselves. So being here challenges you in different ways that you don't get challenged back in North American living.
Right.
You know, like having to come up with a strategy of how you're doing something because you know the system might not be easily going in your favor. It's something that teaches you this level of patience that you think you never had.
Yeah, you find a whole new level of patience here in Ghana, whether it's
whether you want to or not.
Right, whether it's driving or dealing with the bureaucracy here, you have a new level of patience.
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, people complain that the lights go out and things like that. I'm like, but you know what? When the lights go out, nobody. It's hey, everybody's just the lights are out. You know, no big deal.
I don't know about that. We're both like,
well, maybe that's my circle. We're like, oh yeah, the lights go out. Hey,
the club is still cold. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go find where they have cold club at. You know, so I guess for me and my circle, things are a little different than the people who need that electric.
You know what I do notice in the area that I'm in is when the power goes out, that people are all coming outside and they sit outside in their chairs and they're having conversation with each other.
It's a community and
we suffer as a community.
Yeah, it's right, yeah. And then when the lights come on, everybody cheers in the neighborhood. And it is definitely, your community living and community raising your children. That is really emphasized here. Leo can ride his bike 5 minutes from the house to the office, and in that 5-minute drive, he's picked up a string of friends that if I walk in, oh, hi, Leo's dad. I'm like, I don't know you. Oh, hey, how are you, sir? You're Leo's dad. I'm like, this is a grown man.
I know, right?
You're Leo's dad. So the community really look out for the kids, and that's something that, you hear takes a community to raise a kid, but you actually see it here.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, I think that's the other part of the conversation. It's like, you do have to have a plan for the challenges. You do have to accept that life is not going to be exactly like it is in America. But in exchange for that, you get something that is almost like that you can't replicate in the US. And when we talk about Leo, sometimes he will go out and he knows street lights come on and he has to get home. And I love that because I feel like that's how
That's how
it used to be.
Right. Our generation, it was like the street lights come on and you're rushing back home so you don't get in trouble. And so he's getting that, and I know that Luke didn't get that when he was that age because we were in a pretty well-off, nice neighborhood with a lot of kids, and our neighborhood did look out for one another, but it wasn't with this level of freedom and with this level of peace on our end. It was always still kind of like, who's going to sit out in the driveway so we can just keep an eye, or what mom are you with so that I know you have to be with a certain person, and then when you leave you have to come right home. You can't. Leo's out, sometimes not.
Yeah, he'll leave 12 in the afternoon, come back 6:15, and we're like, okay, he's good.
And I think a lot of people do look up for each other, and there's not this fear between each other. So, like, for example, you'll be sitting somewhere and someone has a baby and they'll just pass the baby to you because they need to do something real quick, then come back for the baby.
Yes.
You would never do
that. No, not at all. Not at all. That happens to me on the plane.
Passing the baby to a stranger.
I mean, it's you're not a stranger. We're family. You hold the baby.
It happened to me on a plane going to Tamale where there was a family of like mom and a dad with 3 little kids. And the dad was at his wit's end with the 2 youngest. And he just looked at me and said, "Oh, please, Charlie." And I just held the baby until the mom could get settled.
Yeah.
But it was just, he just looked around and my hands were open. He said, "Oh, please, Charlie." I said, "Okay."
You know, there's no way to replicate it. Like, you can't get that.
I would give and you see people coming up to your baby and they're like, "Oh, no, get away from my kid, lady. I don't know you." But here it's
different.
Yeah.
People come and hug and come and have some food. Do you want something to eat? And
everywhere you go, you're invited.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I just ate, but I'll sit down with you.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a really, I feel home here. You know, it changed me into the whole Black American, African American thing. What I found is that, you know, if you have melanin, you're from here. You come here, you're going to have a sense of belonging. The people will make sure, the Ghanaian people will make sure you're recognized as one of theirs. I love it. I can't get enough of it. Been here 4 years. I can't wait to see what the next 4 years are going to bring. But I tell everybody, you know, just come and experience Ghana just for a little bit, and you'll come back. Yeah.
You know what's interesting is with you, there's a lot of people who I've been in contact with who, when they mention they watch your channel, they'll be like, "Yeah, I watch those people from Texas. Tony, he's Ghanaian and his wife is African American." So it's like people got it all mixed up.
They have it mixed up. Yeah.
And they do it all the time when we go places. We'll go places. I think it was even like we went to the bank or something, and they were saying you can only open it if you're Ghanaian. And I was like, "Yes, okay." And he's like, "So you'll need to go get him." And I was like, "Him? No, it's for me. I'm the Ghanaian." And he looked at me again. He's like, "So you'll need your husband." And I was like, "Why do I need him?" It was just they look and they don't make that connection. So it happens all the time.
What's really weird is people just come up to you and start speaking street
all the time.
And I'm like, "Oh no," and they'll switch your different language. "Oh no, I'm from the States." "Oh, but you're Ghanaian." I said, "Well, no, not really."
But you look like him.
Yeah.
You have the features as a Ghanaian man.
Yeah.
So like I can see how people get.
Yeah, as long as I keep my mouth closed, they don't know, and I can nod just at the right time, laugh at the right time, and they say, "Oh, really? You didn't know what I was saying?" Didn't know nothing.
So to set the record straight,
yeah, she's the Ghanaian.
I'm the Ghanaian. He is the American.
Yeah.
And I have to go back because I just want to say that we told him before he came that first trip that it was going to be different. It was going to be something. And my dad would tell you all the time. And I think we collectively tell people the same message all the time. But I really just don't think that you can understand the depth of what the experience is like until you actually set foot. And it doesn't take long, but you have to actually come. No one can explain to you the way that it shifts you inside of yourself, the way it shifts how you think about yourself and your place in this world and the options that are available to you. And, just...
I use the jollof analogy. Everybody says he has the best jollof until you come to Ghana and taste the jollof. They say, "Oh, I don't know what the other stuff was," So yeah, I think of it like that. It's you come and experience it, then you'll know.
I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head. Date, November 19th, 2024. We're gonna have a little breakfast, we're gonna meditate, we're gonna take this morning in slow and just enjoy the day completely. It is time to get out. Your citizenship awaits you. You will succeed in whatever you choose to do, and light will shine on the road ahead of you. Job 22:20. I am born and raised in Washington, D.C. That is the East Coast of America. I lived in Maryland for a long time. I went to Xavier University for college. That was my first college experience. And New Orleans, Louisiana, that's the boot. So D.C. is up here, the boot, bottom of the map is what we call it. Hi,
Hey, Aquaba. My name is Marissa Robinson. I'm from Washington, D.C. I came to Ghana for the first time in 2020. I was invited here upon the invitation of the president and my god sister, my cousin, Adrienne Porter, who you guys met earlier.
It wasn't until 1998 my family did their DNA and genetic heritage, ancestral DNA, by Africanamericaninghana.com. Shout out to Africanamericaninghana.com. They are the ones that tell you the actual African tribe. They don't give you percentage. They don't say, oh, you're a little bit of this, a little bit of that. They tell you what your majority tribe that is in your DNA by way of your mitochondrial DNA. That's on your mother's side. So that's what we recommend that you do first. And that's the longest line. As we know, even Ghana is a matrilineal country. So that's what we start with. So my matrilineal lineage is, drum roll, Ashanti.
Okay.
That's what they said. That's what the paper said. I got a phone call. I was at Xavier. I was asleep. My family was like, we got the results. And I was like, what? They were like, we Ashanti. I was like, Ashanti? Who? And they were like, Ashanti. So I asked them to spell it. And I went back to sleep.
If I know it's still right, I would have done the same thing.
Thank you for the ancestors for blessing us with this opportunity to return home and be a part of our motherland.
In 2005, I was working in the lab. I was a lab rat. I'm a scientist by trade. And I got a phone call from my godfather, who was half Ghanaian, and I never knew. I've known him all my life. I was like 24, and he was like, he knew I loved to travel. He said, would you like to travel with me to Ghana? I was like, what you talking about? And he was like, yeah, my father's getting ill. And I was like, your father? And I never even knew to ask about his dad. I don't know. I guess I thought he was dead already. He was like, no, he's well. He's actually ill, but he's alive. But he's in Ghana, where he's been all his life. So Dr. Collison was his father. He was a medical doctor that came to Howard to get educated. But after he finished school, he came back to Ghana. So he didn't practice in the States. He didn't spend much time. He actually did what most Africans should do, is go get educated and bring it right back, right? So before he left DC, he left a seed, and that was my godfather. So for me to come to Ghana specifically, a lot of Americans that are coming here aren't necessarily genetically Ghanaian. They're just genetically West African or African, right? So this is an entry point that's comfortable for us. You speak English. You invited us. You drive on the same side of the road as us. So, you're more English and Brit like us, opposed to the Francophone countries of West Africa. So Ghana's like a good door for us because of those reasons. You speak English. So with that being said, for me personally, I'm reversing history. For everybody else, it could just be like, we're back in Africa. For me personally, like I'm like hitting the white man that put my people on the boat. Because I'm the one that enslaved African thought, like, will we ever have someone to come back?
I can see this. Journey back to Ghana has taken generations, centuries. Our ancestors left these shores in circumstances that were truly tragic and inhumane. They left, but their hearts, now your hearts, have kept that enduring connection to the African soil, to our shared heritage, to Ghana.
Yesterday during the ceremony, they played a couple videos, and Genghis from Backyard Band was one of the first people that popped up on the screen, and I screamed, Genghis! That was a little disruptive. BYB for life. BYB is Backyard Band. In DC, we have something called go-go music, which is music based on drum. So it's a group of drummers. You have a whole lot of percussionists. Now it's a full band, but it's primarily the drum. So this is some Backyard right here. So coming to Africa was easy for us because the drum was already in us. We would dance, we would have this was something that we would do as a people all over DC. Everybody had a band. Everybody was linked to a band. And I guess that's the tribal piece in us. But that drum, and a little extra soft. Make it move a little bit. So today is our first day. We're going to a brunch. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is one of the Divine Nine Greek organizations of America. So what does that mean? We're not Greek. No, we don't want to be of the Greek. But historically, this has been one of the things that the education community has for us. So what does that mean? HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, were created and existed since 1800s, like late 1800s, after we got free from slavery. Within the HBCUs became the Divine Nine. So it's 9 black Greek organizations that are like social clubs focused on service, scholarship, education, culture, leadership, all the things that we need to propel ourselves as a community, as a people. Hi. We got the Spice Girls. Wow. Spice Girls. You guys aren't loud enough for Soros. Hi, everybody. Annabelle said we're filming. Sunday, yeah. But I just introduced D9 and how Ghana is strong with that here opposed to other countries, and just the idea of HBCUs and Howard's coming. Mecca to the Motherland is a big trip we're doing with Howard Alumni Association. Yeah, so this is like a preview that they'll get. So if you don't mind, if I can introduce you on camera, who you are just a little bit.
My name is Charlotte Fuller. I've been in Ghana this time for the past 4 or 5 weeks, but I lived here in the 60s, and after all of these years, I made Plan B and recently got residency here in Ghana, and I plan to spend more time here.
Where have you been other places? Where have you been since you left Ghana?
Since the 60s, I've been living in South Africa since 1998. I was interested in South Africa after the apartheid era had ended, so I went there. And when I came to Ghana in 61, the interest was that Ghana recently got their independence in 57, so a lot of Afro-Americans were interested in coming to Ghana. So I came at the time when some other people had the same idea. Maya Angelou was here at that time. W.E.B. Du Bois was here. Malcolm X came through. All of those people that you may not remember came through, and we were here. Muhammad Ali, and it was a beautiful time to be here. And of course, Nkrumah was president at the time, and that was exciting. So things are going on now, but I don't recognize Ghana anymore. Tema was just nobody went to Tema unless you wanted to buy some fish. So now I understand Tema is the second largest city. Yes, so Timber, it's just amazing the changes that have taken place. And I'm excited to be here, and I'm going to be spending a lot of time here in Ghana.
You've been gone, it's
All right, guys, fantastic, amazing, and beautiful, because at the end of the day, I'm really smiling and happy that a lot of awareness is coming into the motherland for people to always, time to time, come out on their platform and share their experiences, their story on the positive about how the motherland has really impacted in their life, how they migrated to the motherland, Ghana, and at the end of the day, they never knew their left from their right, but today, their success story is quite different, inspiring, motivating, and amazing. And yes, stories like these are the kind of stories we often get for most people that visit the motherland from the diaspora, from African Americans and other part of the Western British European citizens. Yes, and at the end of the day, I know that these are not just mere stories, they are very, very insightful, deep, and emotional experience of these people coming out to share with others, so that at least if you are a citizen of any country planning to relocate for any reason, to migrate, to tour, to visit the motherland, at least you have an understanding, a better perception, insight, knowledge of what the motherland is all about. Yes, and plan very well. The essence is planning very well. And yes, also understand that yes, these are more very on the positive is what the motherland can offer. And that's why we've got a lot of people trooping in and out on a daily, on a steady, monthly, yearly. And yes, trust me, you're one and only ambassador of the motherland to always bring these hot gists, premium information, breaking news on the stable of vibes upon vibes with Chiri. So guys, having listened attentively and patiently till this point, first off, thank you so much for your time. I must confess, I truly and deeply appreciate it, right? And secondly, what are your thoughts, your opinion, your input, your objectives? Kindly leave them in the comment section. I would love to hear your feedback. Have you visited the motherland? Are you planning on visiting? Now, especially that there are free visas. Where are you watching me from? Let me know all these things. And yes, with all this information, it's enough to guide, direct, and help you out in your journey, in course of your preparation to visiting the motherland. And as well, if you do, out of a result of this exposition on here, let me know as well that I inspired, motivated, and actually gingered you to visiting the motherland in Africa. Because yes, we are countries in West Africa down to Africa, and Africa to the world. And our dream, our goal, our objective is to exposed countries in West Africa, the motherland, Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, Togo, Niger. In fact, a lot of amazing countries in West Africa, down to Africa and Africa to the world. And our goal is to make the world understand, see the continent Africa from a better perspective. Yes, and united as well we stand, divided we fall. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, at this point we've come to the end of this episode. So what are your thoughts? Like I said, leave them and I will follow up in the comment section. If you are yet to like this video, I beg of you, please hit on the like button, share this video so that more people will get to see here what citizenship and all whatnot is all about in the motherland. Like and subscribe, and at the end of the day, I will see you in my next one. But for now, keep vibing to your environment, to nature, food, everything positive worth vibing to. Till I, your ambassador one of the motherland, catch you up in my next one. For now, ciao, ciao. Mwah.